Hello dear students, today lesson in math, book A, transforming shapes, page 159. Objectives: reflection of a shape, what I mean by reflection of a shape and how I do it, and then we have the translation of a shape, what that means and how I do it, and also rotation of a shape, what does that mean and how can I do it. First we start with reflection of a shape. In the question, I shall give you the grid like this one, and I shall give you an object, a triangle, and I ask you now to draw me the mirror line and to make the reflection of this object. Before we start, I have to tell you that the reflection is not always vertically. This is a vertical reflection. It is a vertical reflection and a horizontal reflection. It depends on the space that you have on the grid. But to save you this trouble, I shall ask you myself to make the horizontal or the vertical reflection. Okay, so this is called a vertical reflection. You have only the grid here and you have only this object and you have to reflect it on the other side. This is the object. The other side is called the image here. You have to draw the mirror line. You have drawn the mirror line exactly on the tip of this object here down to 7. So the equation of the mirror line is x equals 7. Okay, so now how I make the reflection, you take it point by point. This is the point, you put it here, so you start it from here because there is no distance between the object and the mirror line. And then I go to other point. This point is 4 squares away from the mirror line, so I go 4 squares also from this side, 1 2 3 4, and I make a point and then I draw the line. This line now represents for me an image for this line, and it corresponds with this line also. And then I know that this line have something vertically going like this for 2 squares and a little bit, so I go from here also 2 squares and a little bit. Now this line of the triangle, this side of the triangle corresponds exactly with this side of the triangle. All I have to do now is to join this end to this end, the diagonal, and I have my image triangle, which looks exactly to the object part of the triangle with an equation, a mirror equation of x equal to 7. This is how you make the reflection. But how I make the translation? Translation is you move the object. Also you take points. You have the object, you have the grid, and you have to find me this image. You have to draw me this image. You pick a certain point, and then I say to you in the question, move the object 6 squares to the right and 6 squares to the downwards. Okay, so you take this point and you go 6 squares to the right, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then 6 squares down, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and here's my point. I put 1 point here. Okay, I put 1 point here. This is my first position in my image. Then I pick another point. I go and pick this one at the top, at the corner here, and I go also 6 to the right and 6 down. You don't change the number of the sequences here. When I tell you 6 to the right, 6 down, that means you move all the objects 6 to the right, 6 down, or in another word, you move all the points that you choose from the object to 6 squares to the right, and you go with all the points in the object 6 squares down. So it is 6 by 6, every point 6 by 6. So I choose a point here, I go also 6 points to the right, 1 2 3 4 5 6. I wait a little bit and I go 6 squares down, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and it brings me here. This is the second point. Okay, so I have this point and I have this point. I draw this diagonal, and from here I go 1 2 3 4 5 6 squares, 1 2 3 5 6 squares. So I draw this line, which is correspond to this line, and now this line is corresponding with this line, and then from this point here I draw this line here, which is little bit 1 2 3 4 and little bit, I call it 4 squares and a half. So I go little bit 1 2 3 4 and little bit. This is the drawing, and I complete my drawing. Now I have an image which is exactly matches the object, but that will never happen only when you follow the distance. Each point have to move and follow the instructions exactly. When I say 6 points to the right, 6 points downwards, that means each point that you choose on this object to place it in the image object have to also move 6 points to the right and 6 points to the left. Now let us go to the rotation. Rotation, you have to have a center of rotation. This I will give you, or you can make it yourself. You put any center of rotation. You have to have a center of rotation, and you have this triangle again object. I want you to rotate it 180 degree. How I rotate this 180 degree? How can I do that? How will the shape looks when I rotate this 180 degree? First thing, I shall reflect the image. The trick is I reflect the image first in this way. Exactly at this point again. Now it is, I consider this is like a mirror distance or something, but this is the center of rotation, no problem. It is 1 square away, so the new triangle here is also 1 square away from the center. And then I calculate how much far is this point. It is 1, 2, 4, 5 squares. This point, so always is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. So I go then 4 squares up, just like this one. So I have this side is corresponding with this one, the triangle, and this side is corresponding with this one, the triangle. I join the line here, diagonal, and I have a similar object on the other side, a similar image, which is reflected now. But I don't want a reflected object, I want a rotation. What you do is this object which you reflected, you flip it. You flip it in this side. So now we have, this is the image. This is the image. First, because this is a rotation around 180 degree, sorry, the rotation of 180 degree, you make a reflection and then you flip it. Now the yellow one is the image and this is the object, okay? And this is a rotation for 180 degree for a triangle. How did I do it? I reflected the triangle first, and then what I've done, I flip it around, okay? Horizontally, I flip it around. So this is called rotation. How I rotate, you reflect the object first and then just flip it, and then you have this rotation. Let us go to this example 16.1. Copy each diagram, add a mirror line. You have to put the mirror line yourself, and then give me the equation of this mirror line. The equation of this mirror line is x equals 7. Again, x equals 7. You can choose any number here. It's not you can attach this line, this mirror line, to this side of this shape or this object, no problem. But now this mirror line that you have drawn is 2 squares, or I have drawn, it is 2 squares away from the object, and he wants from me a reflection. How I reflect? Again, the first side is 2 squares also away from the mirror line, and it is 3 squares wide. Second side, the same one. The second side is 4 squares and a half away, and here also 4 squares and a half away. And then this one, all these sides now are corresponding to the old sides. This side is also how many long? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is 9 squares, this is also 9 squares, and then you join between the 2 points the diagonal. So now we have what? We have an image exactly look like the object. Put in consideration that each point on this image object have the same distance away from the mirror as the object from the mirror. Each point here, it's away from the mirror exactly as a point on the image away from the mirror. This you have to put in consideration. What is the equation of the vertical reflection? X equals 7. Okay, what happens if I have an object like this and there is no place that I can reflect it horizontally, vertically? What I do, I reflect it horizontally. You can put the mirror also like this. This is y equal 9, okay? The equation of the line is y equal 9, and the object here, and I want to reflect it now. I start with this line, and then I start with this one, and this one. Now I have an image which is exactly like the object, but it is downwards. Each point on this image is exactly away from the mirror line, exactly as its corresponding point on the object away from the mirror line. Thank you very much for your attention.